Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. That's Alan Watts. But here's the paradox. The gods weren't joking. They were testing who would remain asleep, scrolling endlessly, and who would wake up to build his own world with ruthless clarity and unshakable standards. If you're between 18 and 34, listen carefully. Every wasted year isn't neutral. It compounds into poverty of mind, loss of respect, and stolen future. Imagine this. A boy stares at a cracked screen in his dark room, scrolling. He sees Thoth choosing men to write reality. He laughs. Then he catches his reflection. Older, weaker, smaller than he remembers. His laugh dies. Because somewhere inside he knows he was supposed to build. And I'm asking you, what if that clip wasn't superstition, but instruction? What if your doubt is just resistance to the discipline you're avoiding? You've been told, be patient, wait for your chance, but waiting is passive slavery. He didn't wait. He built. She didn't choose. She followed. The truth. Every time you lower your standard, you hand your future away to advertisers, to politicians, to hair, and they happily own you. But when you decide to carry the burden of creating your own frame, something changes. Your gravity strengthens. Your silence speaks. Your presence commands. Here's the rule. If he sleeps through the call, you stay awake through discomfort. If he surrenders to ease, you master difficult standards instead. This won't be soft. I'm not here to pat your shoulder. I'm here to slap the excuses out of your mouth with brutal clarity. The gods don't hand out free kingdoms. They hand out mirrors, discomfort, and impossible tests. Your response determines whether you're man enough to create. So remember, Thoth doesn't choose the comfortable. He chooses the restless, the questioning, the stubborn builders who'd rather bleed building than rot waiting. That's you. You can keep pretending your delay is harmless, or you can admit each wasted night drains your respect account until nothing remains but regret. He didn't fail because he lacked money. He failed because he lacked a standard. She didn't leave because of him. She left because of weakness. And that's why you're hearing this now. Not to nod, not to feel inspired, but to wake up, choose clarity, and claim your responsibility. The message is simple. Stillness isn't laziness. Standards aren't preferences. Selectivity isn't arrogance. These are the building blocks of the world you're required to create. So when you see this, understand it isn't an accident. It's a summons, a chance, a mirror, a warning. The gods gave you instructions. Build, because if you won't carry the burden, someone else will, and they'll happily shape your world, your relationships, and your destiny to serve themselves. The test is real. The choice is yours. Will you wake up and construct the world that bends to your standard, or be constructed? This is your sign. Not to feel chosen, to act chosen. Because only those who act chosen ever become the creators they were born to be. 4D thinking isn't fantasy, it's discipline. You architect your inner standards so tightly that eventually the external world has no choice but to obey. You've heard mindset cliches before. Forget them. This isn't vision boards or empty affirmations. This is weaponized clarity, stillness, selectivity, and unshakable standards turned into survival strategies. Ask yourself, what happens when you let chaos rule inside? Exactly, your world collapses outside, but order inside forces order outside. That's not mystical, that's mechanical. He didn't lose because life was unfair. He lost because his standards were negotiable. She didn't drift because fate intervened. She drifted because chaos ruled. Weaponized clarity means stillness when others panic, selectivity when others settle, and standards that refuse compromise. You don't adjust downward, you force reality to bend upward. This script will prove it through rules, reframes, and micro-stories. By the end, you'll see creating your own world isn't optional, it's survival. You think being chosen is privilege. It isn't, it's a debt. You owe repayment in sweat, discipline, and years spent building brick by brick. Comfort whispers that you're special already. That's false. Every man starts ordinary, until he proves otherwise. Until you endure grind without applause, you remain replaceable noise. You want proof? Look around. The world isn't waiting for your greatness, it's waiting for your submission. If you bend, they profit endlessly. So flip the script. Being chosen doesn't mean relaxing, it means tightening. It means refusing shortcuts. It means you carry weight when others beg off. You wonder, what if I'm not special? Wrong question. Ask instead, when will I stop waiting for recognition and start forcing my hands into history? A man once ignored his creative itch. He chose routine. 10 years later, grey beard trembling, he realized regret was his only surviving companion. Understand this. You're not waiting for a path. You're building it brick by brick. He didn't stumble forward by accident. He carved forward through demand. He didn't drift because destiny abandoned him. He drifted because he surrendered early. She didn't betray him. He betrayed himself by lowering standards. Every hammer strike you deliver creates foundation. Every compromise you allow destroys it. There's no neutral ground. Either you build your kingdom or you're consumed. If you reject the call, ask yourself, who builds your world? Advertisers? Politicians? Her? Do you really want your reality engineered by strangers? Stop asking if you're worthy. Worthiness isn't awarded, it's constructed. Prove it in silence, stand taller in storms, trade excuses for consistency. Forge yourself chosen. If he sleeps through the call, you stay awake through discomfort. If he hides from trials, you enter fire. Pain becomes currency. Victory, repayment. This is initiation, not invitation. You weren't picked for applause, you were picked for burden. Stop fantasizing about destiny. Start weaponizing discipline. That's chosen. 4D thinking isn't mysticism, it's mechanics. 4 layers. Stillness inside, selectivity outside, standards shaping identity, strategy guiding execution. Together they form gravitational force. Nobody can ignore. Stillness means control. Your emotions no longer swing wildly with chaos. You remain grounded while others panic. Calm men win because storms reveal foundations. Selectivity is ruthless filtering. Not every opportunity is worth chasing. Not every woman deserves your time. Not every environment deserves your presence. Scarcity creates value. Standards are identity in armor. You don't lower them because circumstances are harsh. You raise them higher so the world adjusts upward to you. Strategy is execution with foresight. You don't improvise life endlessly. You plot, adapt, and strike with precision. Each move builds leverage instead of wasted noise. Doubt asks, what if I'm not attractive yet? Attraction isn't cosmetic. Real attraction is gravitational. People orbit you because you enforce unshakable personal standards. What's harder, discipline now or regret later? 10 minutes of sacrifice or 10 years of wasted potential. One burns temporary, the other burns forever. He didn't fail because he lacked resources. He failed because he lacked standards. Resources multiply when standards rise. Weak boundaries sabotage wealth, relationships, and growth. She didn't leave because he was poor. She left because he was directionless. Money follows structure, and structure follows standards set without compromise. Micro story. A broke man organizes mornings, cleans his room, builds a plan. Within 1 year, his presence shifts rooms before words leave his lips. If they rush you, you slow the pace. If they pressure you, you double down on patience. Control timing, control power. Standards demand tempo. Stillness trains self-respect. Selectivity sharpens power. Standards construct gravity. Strategy multiplies results. That's 4D thinking. Layers of clarity converging into authority. Stop floating, start constructing dimensions. You wanted clarity. Now you see the layers. If you collapse them, you collapse yourself. Maintain them, and you become undeniable, gravitational, unshakable, unignored. 4D isn't fancy language. It's war strategy for your mind. 1 layer is survivable. 4 layers together, that's sovereignty. That's leadership. That's unbreakable masculine architecture. This standard isn't for everyone, but if you claim it, you must uphold it, because men who fall below their standards disintegrate faster than cowards. Remember this rule: if he compromises early, you double your resolve. If he dilutes his standards, you strengthen yours. That's how gravity becomes empire. Every move you make broadcasts one of 2 signals: chaos or clarity. You're already teaching others how to treat you. Decide your curriculum now. Stillness stops overreactions. Selectivity removes distractions. Standards set altitude. Strategy plots coordinates. Combined, they make you untouchable. That's the 4D standard. Not fluff, fortress. Not mystical, mechanical. Projection is the silent language shaping your reality. People don't treat you as you are, they treat you as you project, unconsciously, without debate. If your projection is timid, why expect bold treatment? The world mirrors back your posture, your tone, your eyes. Weak signals invite ruthless disregard. Every room you enter is negotiation. You're teaching them your value before a word escapes your lips. Slouch once, and you've already cut your worth. He didn't lose because he lacked skill. He lost because he projected weakness. She didn't doubt him because of facts. She doubted his presence. Imagine this story. A man walks into negotiations slouched, voice shaky. They cut his pay. 1 year later, upright, calm, his offer rises instantly, dramatically. Projection is gravitational. People orbit strength. If your voice trembles, they press harder. If your gaze steadies, they yield ground. That's reality, psychological combat unfolding. You ask, when do I make a move? Not when you feel ready. Readiness is a myth. You move when your standards demand action. Your doubts betray you more than your enemies do. When you second guess, they sense it. When you hesitate, they conquer. Certainty wins negotiations instantly. If he doubts, you decide. If he hesitates, you strike. That's projection, relentless decisiveness. Even when fear whispers otherwise, weakness delays, strength executes immediately. He didn't fail because opportunity lacked. He failed because courage lacked. She didn't overlook him because blind. She overlooked him because projection screamed invisibility. Standards and projection are welded. You don't act powerful occasionally. You embody power continuously. Each gesture, each silence reinforces weight. Consistency cements gravitational authority. What's easier, faking confidence or cultivating it? Faking cracks under pressure, cultivation endures fire. True projection is earned through discipline, not fabricated theatrics. Depth beats pretense. Projection is discipline expressed through posture, voice, timing. Its silence weaponized, stillness intensified, selectivity sharpened. Each layer trains people how to approach you unconsciously, predictably. Understand this micro lesson. You're always broadcasting a signal. Either chaos or clarity. Either weakness or strength. Either indecision or resolve. Others respond accordingly, without mercy. The timid man thinks people dislike him personally. Wrong. They dislike his broadcast. He projects hesitation, so they exploit him. He projects fear, so they dominate. Confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes it's refusal to flinch. Sometimes it's calm pacing when they rush. Rule: if they rush, you slow everything. Command tempo. Projection is timing. Patience radiates authority. Haste radiates desperation. One earns respect, the other earns contempt. Which broadcast will you choose to echo through rooms? You cannot hide projection. Even silence screams. Even hesitation roars. People sense posture before words. Are you communicating sovereignty or submission? Decide before stepping in. He didn't collapse because talent lacked. He collapsed because composure lacked. She didn't ignore him because cruel. She ignored him because invisibility radiated outward. Your body is billboards. Your tone is headlines. Your presence is advertisement. What story are you selling? Weakness discounted, or authority priced at premium? People don't buy words first. They buy energy. You must project credibility before delivering arguments. Fail that and truth sounds weak. Win that and lies persuade. Never confuse aggression with projection. Aggression is insecure overcompensation. Projection is calm certainty. Stillness conquers panic. Selectivity radiates strength. Standards broadcast value. Strategy enforces delivery. That's projection. When fear says, wait until ready, ignore it. Move because your standards demand it. Readiness is lie, execution is proof. Standards silence hesitation permanently. He didn't rise because luck blessed him. He rose because presence magnetized respect. She didn't commit because of beauty. She committed because projection promised stability. Projection is battlefield of subtlety. Blink slower, speak measured. Hold stillness. They lean in. They follow. They obey rhythm you dictate. Authority leaks through discipline. You're either commanding respect through projection or inviting disrespect through neglect. Which side are you on? Every glance, pause, and motion answers that question. If he panics, you breathe. If he trembles, you steady. If he waits, you advance. Projection punishes hesitation and rewards deliberate calm. Apply ruthlessly. Projection isn't charisma, it's gravity. It's why some men silence a room without raising their voice. They project certainty so deep, others cannot resist orbit. He didn't stumble because path unclear. He stumbled because signal unclear. She didn't abandon him because of enemies. She abandoned him because of weakness projected. Projection is environment control. You shape responses, you dictate pace, you teach others. If you broadcast clarity, you sculpt loyalty. If chaos, you sculpt contempt. This is the rule of projection. People treat you as you broadcast. Choose strength. Choose clarity. Choose standards. Otherwise, the world chooses exploitation for you. Micro reminder: projection rewires reality. A broke man, upright and calm, creates openings money couldn't. A timid millionaire, slouched and unsure, loses ground. Who are you projecting? Every room you enter already listens. Before words they decide. Do they see king or pawn, gravity or shadow? Projection answers. Decide deliberately, broadcast relentlessly. Projection is proof of inner work. You cannot cheat it. No scripts, no hacks, only discipline manifested outward. Your energy writes contracts before ink dries. So test yourself, walk into silence, hold gaze, breathe slow, speak measured. That's projection. Train it until unconscious. Then watch everything bend toward your presence. Projection decides relationships, business, respect. The rule is merciless. Project weakness, they devour you. Project strength, they reward you. Decide today, timid shadows or commanding presence. Scarcity is the dirtiest lie you've swallowed. It's not about resources, it's about identity. Broke men aren't broke because nothing exists. They're broke because they hoard. Scarcity is identity poverty. You think lack defines you, so you build habits of hiding, delaying, hesitating. Abundance starts when you reject the scarcity costume. Who benefits from you believing scarcity? Not you. It's banks, corporations, manipulators. They want you convinced there's not enough. So you compete instead of creating. Abundance isn't hounded, it's built. Not through lottery, but discipline. Not through fantasies, but standards. Discipline produces abundance. Scarcity worship kills momentum. Abundance worship multiplies effort. Micro story: one man hoards pennies, terrified of loss. Another risks 100, fails, learns. 5 years later, first man bitter, second man free, wealthy. Scarcity answers every fear with excuses. The world is unfair. Correct, it is. But the unfair world still bows to disciplined men who build. You complain about unfairness, but the man across from you is outworking excuses. Who wins? The unfair system or the disciplined architect who ignored noise? He didn't starve because the world hated him. He starved because he never planted. She didn't struggle because life cursed her. She struggled because stagnation ruled. If they say there's not enough, you prove abundance. If they say resources vanish, you demonstrate discipline. Scarcity fades where discipline compounds. That's reality, not theory. Scarcity men think survival is hoarding. Builders know survival is producing. Hoarders stay weak. Producers become magnets. Which side are you training? Hoarding or building? Scarcity whispers, wait until perfect. Abundance commands, start now. Scarcity keeps you hoarding, hiding, hesitating. Abundance multiplies only after first risk, first step, first decision. If he delays, you advance. If he hides, you expose. If he hoards, you invest. That's abundance. Bold execution when others freeze in scarcity. Scarcity isn't cosmetic, it's gravitational. People avoid scarcity energy. They chase builders, they chase creators, they chase men who risk, who produce, who radiate abundance unapologetically. Reframe. He didn't fail because opportunity lacked, he failed because action lacked. She didn't fall because cruel fate struck, she fell because discipline abandoned. Scarcity demands explanation. Abundance needs no defense. Scarcity men rationalize, debate, complain. Builders move, build, adjust. Scarcity talks, abundance delivers. Which are you broadcasting to the world? Scarcity men fear risk. Abundance men fear regret. What's harder, Discipline now or bitterness later. Discipline is temporary pain. Regret is permanent prison. Choose wisely. Your brain defaults to scarcity unless you rewire it. Scarcity is survival setting. Abundance is architectural upgrade. Scarcity reacts, abundance designs. That's the psychological shift required. Scarcity men chase scraps. Abundance men create systems. Scarcity begs crumbs. Abundance builds tables. Scarcity pleads for inclusion. Abundance dictates terms. Where you stand defines your life. The world is unfair. Accept it, then outbuild it. Complainers remain slaves. Builders become kings. Scarcity fuels victims. Abundance fuels architects. Which kingdom are you serving today? Scarcity men ask, why me? Abundance men ask, what's next? Scarcity anchors you. Abundance accelerates you. Scarcity worships safety. Abundance worships discipline. Which altar are you kneeling at? He didn't lose because competition outsmarted him. He lost because scarcity paralyzed him. She didn't settle because men vanished. She settled because scarcity rewired her standards downward. Scarcity man clings to pennies. Abundance man risks dollars. Scarcity man panics in storms. Abundance man builds ships. Scarcity waits for permission. Abundance declares authority. Which one are you? Scarcity men think life is lottery tickets. Abundance men know life is blueprints. Scarcity prays for luck. Abundance builds strategy. Scarcity asks for miracles. Abundance engineers systems relentlessly. Every excuse you hide behind. It's not fair, not enough, too risky, is scarcity. Builders still build. Winners still win. Discipline crushes scarcity every single time. Scarcity is a myth used to leash you. Abundance is forged through consistent standards. Stop asking for permission. Start producing relentlessly. Scarcity dies where discipline thrives. Scarcity whispers safety. Abundance shouts growth. Scarcity says protect what's left. Abundance says expand what's possible. Scarcity shrinks life. Abundance stretches destiny. Which language are you fluent in? He didn't collapse because economy tanked. He collapsed because scarcity infected him. She didn't falter because support vanished. She faltered because abundance never became her discipline. Scarcity infects relationships, business, self-respect. It tells you to settle, cling, beg. Abundance teaches you to build, release, attract. One suffocates, one multiplies. Which system dominates? Scarcity is cowardice, dressed as caution. Abundance is courage, dressed as discipline. Scarcity asks, what if I fail? Abundance demands, what if I don't even try? Scarcity robs presence. Abundance commands gravity. Scarcity men feel invisible. Abundance men change rooms before speaking. Scarcity is shadow. Abundance is fire. Which aura burns from you today? Scarcity is contagious. Surround yourself with hoarders. You'll shrink. Surround yourself with builders. You'll expand. Your circle broadcasts identity. Are you absorbing scarcity or radiating abundance? Scarcity teaches settling. Abundance teaches rising. Scarcity settles for crumbs. Abundance rises to mastery. Scarcity fears running out. Abundance creates more. Which curriculum are you enrolled in daily? Scarcity enslaves with fear of losing. Abundance liberates with courage to risk. Scarcity men lock doors. Abundance men build bridges. Scarcity hoards, fearing tomorrow. Abundance builds, commanding tomorrow. Scarcity didn't starve him because nothing existed. Scarcity starved him because he refused to plant. She didn't suffer because reality was cruel. She suffered because courage evaporated. Scarcity builds prisons of excuses. Abundance breaks walls with execution. Scarcity keeps you guessing. Abundance keeps you building. Scarcity is emotional poverty. Abundance is identity wealth. That's the difference. Scarcity man envies. Abundance man inspires. Scarcity criticizes. Abundance constructs. Scarcity spreads doubt. Abundance spreads vision. Scarcity suffocates. Abundance breeds expansion. Which one are you becoming each day? Scarcity energy begs for validation. Abundance energy commands respect. Scarcity men chase permission. Abundance men radiate standards. Scarcity collapses under pressure. Abundance grows in storms. Which legacy are you crafting? Scarcity bends knees to systems. Abundance bends systems to knees. Scarcity bows to economy. Abundance manipulates economy. Scarcity submits to fear. Abundance dominates fear. Which side writes your story? Scarcity never rewards. Scarcity punishes. Abundance always rewards. Abundance multiplies. Scarcity tells you to stop. Abundance tells you to continue. Scarcity whispers no. Abundance shouts yes. Scarcity destroys. Abundance creates. Scarcity didn't crush his dreams because opportunity lacked. Scarcity crushed his dreams because identity collapsed. She didn't retreat because reality was unfair. She retreated because standards lowered. Scarcity is noise. Abundance is music. Scarcity is fog. Abundance is light. Scarcity hides potential. Abundance reveals destiny. Scarcity lies. Abundance proves. Scarcity enslaves. Abundance liberates. End transmission. Standards aren't decoration, they're armor. They filter what enters your life. Women, money, respect, everything bends or breaks against the bar you hold steady. When you drop standards, the world doesn't thank you. It punishes you. Lowering the bar never brings peace. It breeds regret and quiet collapse. He didn't lose her, he lost his standard, and she followed. She didn't vanish because she was cruel. She vanished because you surrendered. Ask yourself, what has lowering your bar ever delivered, except hollow nights and heavier shame? Every compromise you make becomes chains you weld onto yourself. Men ask, what if I'm alone? Better question, what if you surround yourself while empty? Better alone with a standard than crowded with betrayal. The truth is brutal. People respect what you enforce, not what you wish. A standard isn't preference. It's an unshakable declaration of who you are. A man once chased a woman who mocked him. He begged. She laughed. Years later, he still acres. His standard died before he did. Another man refused to chase. She mocked. He walked. Years later, she begged for attention. He didn't answer. His silence was louder than applause. If she mocks, you walk. If he tests, you hold frame. Every time you enforce, you rise. Every slip lowers your entire existence. The war is constant. Every hour you're tested by people, by offers, by weakness inside you. Your standards determine if you stand or collapse. Understand, standards aren't walls to trap you. They're gates that protect you. They filter parasites, distractions, and cheap offers before they ever touch you. Without standards, you're clay shaped by others. With them, you're stone that shapes the world. The choice is always yours, softness or strength, She didn't disrespect you because she's reckless. She disrespected you because you let it slide. The world follows enforcement, not whispered requests or quiet frustration. He didn't underpay you because markets are cruel. He underpaid you because you accepted crumbs. Your yes told him you weren't serious about worth. A bar that bends isn't a bar, it's decoration. Stop pretending preference is principle. Standards exist only if they survive pressure without crumbling. You say, "I'll set the bar later." Later is code for never. Standards aren't installed tomorrow. They exist now, or they never existed. Look closely. Every regret you carry traces back to a bar you lowered. Every scar whispers the same story: compromise first, suffering later, always regret. Men ask, what if holding standards makes me lonely? But what is worse, temporary solitude or permanent erosion? Loneliness ends. Compromise stains for life. He didn't build his empire by pleasing everyone. He built it by refusing crumbs, refusing mockery, refusing dilution. Standards were his foundation, not preference. This is the standards war. Every smile hides a test. Every offer hides a price. Every silence hides a challenge. Stand tall or crumble. Your standard is your boundary, your filter, your weapon. Drop it once, and the world learns you'll drop it again. Guard it like breath. Stop believing standards push people away. They don't. They separate the shallow from the strong. They reveal who respects you and who intends to use. If he doubts, you decide. If she hesitates, you hold. Standards aren't arguments. They're decisions. The world bends around decisiveness, never around hesitation. Your worst enemy isn't rejection. It's dilution. A standard diluted is a man erased, and no one mourns the erased. They exploit him. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if every standard held? How many regrets vanish? How much respect grows? How strong could you be? This isn't about perfection, it's about proof. Proof that you refuse to crumble. Proof that you value your frame. Proof that silence beats begging. He didn't rise by luck. He rose by refusing to drop standards when tested. She didn't return because he begged. She returned because he didn't bend. The war doesn't stop, and neither can you. Standards are non-negotiable identity. Hold them, defend them, or watch your life dissolve into regret's ashes. Standards filter reality. They decide what reaches you, who respects you, and what you build. Without them, you're noise. With them, your signal. Choose wisely. Stillness isn't weakness. It's a weapon sharper than noise. Action can expose nerves, but stillness hides strength until the exact moment it becomes undeniable. You think movement equals dominance. Wrong. The man who controls his stillness controls the room. He sets the rhythm while others burn themselves out. Action is obvious. Stillness is mysterious. Mystery commands attention because it leaves space for imagination. And imagination always exaggerates power more than reality ever could. In a heated argument, one man shouts, veins bulging, hands flailing. The other sits silent, calm, sipping water. Slowly, the room orbits his gravity. If silence makes them panic, what does that reveal? It reveals dependency. They depend on your reaction. Remove it, and you expose their imbalance. Stillness isn't passivity, it's restraint. Restraint proves power. Any fool can shout. Few can sit calm, waiting, watching, deciding when to move on their terms. He didn't lose respect by staying quiet. He built it. She didn't calm because he spoke louder. She calmed because his silence demanded recalibration. Your silence makes them fill the void with insecurity. Their own words betray them. Their rush exposes them. Meanwhile, your calm writes the script. If he explodes, you breathe. If she provokes, you pause. The longer you hold frame, the faster their energy collapses under its own weight. Most men mistake stillness for indecision. Wrong again. Indecision delays because of fear. Stillness delays because of control. Control is the essence of masculine strength. You don't always need the last word. Sometimes the strongest word is none. Sometimes the sharpest move is no move, until timing turns perfect. Ask yourself, how many fights did you escalate just because you reacted? How many regrets exist because you filled silence instead of mastering it? Stillness rewires perception. It forces others to lean forward, to anticipate, to interpret. Every second you hold still, their anxiety climbs. That's leverage. He didn't dominate because he shouted louder. He dominated because he didn't need to. She didn't follow noise, she followed stillness. Stillness commanded respect. The world expects chaos. Answer with calm. That contrast destabilizes everyone else. They're addicted to noise. You become the anomaly. Anomalies always control attention. A disciplined pause before speaking signals power. A delayed response to provocation shows control. Every beat of silence declares, I move when I decide, not before. This is the art of delayed response. Seconds feel like minutes. Minutes feel like hours. The longer you wait, the heavier your eventual action. If stillness feels awkward, good. That's its strength. Comfort in silence separates leaders from followers. Followers rush to fill. Leaders wait until weight builds. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing forever. It means moving once, with precision, when the moment matters most. One decisive move outweighs 1,000 impulsive ones. Consider chess. The strongest players don't rush every turn. They pause, they calculate, they let silence unnerve. Then one move shifts the entire board. People fear silence because it reveals noise hides weakness. Stillness exposes it. Hold still and watch others reveal their desperation, their flaws, their fragility. Stillness isn't laziness. Laziness avoids action. Stillness selects action. Laziness wastes time. Stillness invests time. One destroys opportunity. The other multiplies it until returns demand respect. You've been taught noise wins. Wrong. Noise drains. Stillness collects. Noise burns bridges. Stillness builds tension. Tension forces others to move around you. That's command. What feels passive in the moment becomes dominance in memory. People replay silence more than noise. They remember restraint more than reaction. That's psychological power. If he yells, you sip. If she mocks, you pause. If they press, you hold. Your calm becomes their mirror, reflecting their chaos. Every empire fell to noise. Every empire was built on patience. Stillness is discipline weaponized. Discipline isn't glamorous, it's devastating. That's why few practice it. Remember, the stillest water hides the strongest current. The calmest men hide the sharpest power. Stillness isn't absence of strength. It's the purest form of it. Ask again. Won't stillness make me seem passive? No. Passivity is weakness without choice. Stillness is control with choice. Choice defines power. Weakness avoids it. Stillness isn't for cowards. It's for kings. A coward avoids. A king waits. A coward hides. A king holds. A coward fears silence. A king bends it. He didn't win because he fought every battle. He won because he let noise exhaust itself. She didn't respect chaos. She respected controlled stillness. Your challenge is simple. Resist the urge to react. Train the pause. Embrace the silence. Let stillness sharpen your frame into something unshakable. Every yes, without filter, drains your gravity. You think you're collecting opportunities, but you're just leaking boundaries. Respect doesn't come from abundance. It comes from scarcity. You didn't lose chances. You lost edges. He didn't lose opportunities. He lost boundaries. She didn't reject him. She rejected his absence of self-control. At a party, one man says yes to every drink, every invite, forgotten instantly. The other declines, vanishes, returns later, suddenly respected. Why? Because every no builds mystery. Every decline sharpens presence. You don't attract with endless access. You attract by proving your access is earned. If they beg for your yes, you buy time with no. Time stretches desire. Delay becomes gravity. Their pursuit rises when you retreat. Ask yourself, what pulls harder, constant chatter or silence before a single word? Which man commands more space, the one always present or the one scarce? You fear missing out, but missing out is the point. Abundance addicts drown in noise. Selective men carve silence into sharp magnetic power. When you filter, you elevate. When you withhold, you amplify. When you decline, you don't shrink. You expand. Selectivity doesn't reduce you. It multiplies you. He didn't lose friends. He lost filters. He didn't lose women. He lost walls. He didn't lose status. He lost scarcity. See the difference? What if you miss out? You already are, on yourself. Every unfiltered yes is a self-abandonment. Every no is a declaration. I matter first. Saying yes without filter dilutes you. Saying no without fear defines you. Scarcity isn't weakness. It's leverage. Men respect scarcity, women are magnetized by it. When you hold back, people lean in. When you decline, curiosity burns. When you disappear, imagination fills. Selectivity isn't rejection, it's the ultimate weapon of gravity. Scarcity makes you unforgettable. Accessibility makes you disposable. Which would you rather be, endlessly available, endlessly forgotten, or selectively scarce, endlessly remembered long after you're gone? Boundaries aren't cages, they're gates. Every gate has value because not everyone passes through. Without gates, your kingdom collapses. With them, your presence reigns. If he accepts every offer, you decline most. If he trades respect for approval, you trade approval for command. If he bleeds, you sharpen. Think about it. Kings aren't everywhere, saying yes to everyone. They're elevated, selective, impossible to reach without effort. Why? Because distance is the architecture of respect. So ask yourself, are you collecting yeses to feel wanted, or are you wielding no to create weight? Which one feels like sovereignty to you? The mirror doesn't lie. It exposes you first. It shows the excuses, the wasted hours, the promises broken. It reflects your most unfiltered truth. You think you're hiding, but you're not. The mirror is your silent witness. It remembers every skipped workout, every half-truth, every compromise that drained you. When you stare tonight, will you respect the reflection, or will you dodge your own eyes like a coward afraid of the battlefield within? A man once avoided mirrors. He couldn't face himself. One night, he looked. He saw wasted potential staring back. He swore, "Never again." That's the mirror test. It doesn't measure beauty. It measures honesty. Can you confront the man, staring back without flinching, without rationalizing? You fear hating what you see? Good. Hatred is fuel. Hatred is ignition. Hatred is the mirror calling you to rebuild, not retreat. He didn't hate his reflection, he hated his laziness. He didn't despise his face, he despised the excuses hiding behind that face. Every mirror moment is a verdict. You either walk away condemned or you walk away commissioned. Which path are you secretly walking right now? The mirror punishes liars first. Because lies leave traces, soft posture, dull eyes, weak jaw, no words needed. The glass exposes what you buried. If he looks away, you stare longer. If he lies, you confess truth. If he hides, you reveal. If he quits, you sharpen. Mirrors reveal one thing above all. Whether you trust yourself. If you can't hold your own gaze, how can you expect anyone else to? Think about it. How can you demand respect when your reflection doesn't respect you? How can you lead if your own eyes betray you? The man in the mirror is both judge and ally. Fail him, and he punishes you silently. Serve him, and he strengthens you daily. Every morning, the mirror resets the game. Yesterday's victories fade. Yesterday's failures echo. Only today counts. Only now will you pass the test today. What do you see? Potential or betrayal? Strength or softness? Will you let the mirror mock you, or will you make it salute you? When you master the mirror, you master yourself. Not because it changes, but because you finally stop flinching at the truth it always revealed. The mirror doesn't care about excuses, it records results. It doesn't bend for stories, it documents standards. You either rise to meet them or collapse. So tonight, don't avoid it. Don't dim the light. Stand there, face forward, eyes locked. Demand honesty from yourself. Respect the man staring back. He didn't get chosen for comfort, he got chosen for weight. He didn't escape gravity, he inherited gravity. That's what chosen truly means. He didn't dodge responsibility, he became responsibility. He didn't wait for saviors, he carried others. That's the Creator's burden. You don't wait, you shoulder. He didn't shrink when freedom arrived. He faced it head on. He didn't beg for safety. He bled for strength. Freedom without weight is an illusion. He didn't collapse under pressure. He became pressure. He didn't curse the burden. He turned it into armor. That's the paradox. Weight makes you unbreakable. He didn't escape responsibility, he embraced it. And in doing so, he discovered what you refuse to see. Responsibility is the furnace that forges identity. When you're chosen, you're not safe, you're marked. Burden becomes your crown. The question isn't if it's heavy, the question is if you'll carry it. A man once dreamed of freedom, wide and endless. When freedom arrived, he hid. Another man carried it, stumbled, bled, but emerged unshakable, crowned in scars. That's the split, dreamer versus bearer. One drowns in liberty, the other transforms it into legacy. Which one are you becoming when pressure calls? If he avoids burden, you carry it with pride. If he hides, you step forward. If he trembles, you are steady. If he quits, you lead. You don't get lighter by avoiding weight. You rot. You get stronger by embracing it. Your spine thickens. Your presence anchors. Your silence grows heavier. Rhetorical question. If you won't carry it, who will? The answer echoes in your chest. You already know it was always you. You were not built for escape. You were built for endurance. The chosen don't ask for ease. They transform struggle into significance, burden into unshakable presence. He didn't lose her, he lost his standard. She didn't reject him, she rejected his lack of frame. Standards always decide, not feelings. He didn't miss opportunities, he missed preparation. Doors don't close unfairly. They close because you weren't ready to walk through them, steady, strong, and selective. He didn't scare them, he steadied them. Presence doesn't intimidate, it calibrates. Your composure tells others. Chaos won't bend me, storms won't move me, silence anchors. He didn't waste years, he trained endurance. Time invested in growth never vanishes, it compounds. What felt like a delay was actually the rehearsal for strength. He didn't get lucky, he got disciplined. Discipline sharpens edges, builds gravity, and rewrites outcomes. Chance never built men, standards did. Discipline always chooses those who choose it. When she walked away, it wasn't rejection, it was revelation. She showed him his missing standard. That lesson wasn't punishment, it was an invitation. Preparation was the hidden currency. When he wasn't chosen, it wasn't theft, it was clarity. He hadn't invested enough yet. The answer: invest relentlessly. They didn't flee because of intimidation, they stayed because of steadiness. True leadership isn't fireworks, it's a calm presence that calms storms and commands attention without begging. The years weren't wasted, they were weighted. Every repetition, every lonely night, every unnoticed effort hardened his spine. Endurance wasn't delayed, it was destiny slowly shaping. Luck is a myth. Discipline is the architect. He didn't stumble into greatness, he bled into it, daily, until habits carved out inevitability. Stillness isn't laziness, it's authority. Selectivity isn't fear, it's power. Standards aren't chains, they're crowns. The man who embraces them doesn't lose, he defines what winning even means. And you don't escape these rules, you embody them. Say no, stay steady, stay selective. The world bends toward men who refuse compromise. Behaviors never define the man himself. They reveal temporary lapses. You are not your mistakes. Slip once, but rise stronger with unwavering standards. Consent and respect are not optional. They are non-negotiable. Without them, authority rots into manipulation. Influence collapses without integrity, leaving only weakness disguised as control. Real strength never forces, it invites. Influence is a choice freely accepted, never a cage built on coercion. Respect earns commitment, pressure only destroys it. And when life feels heavier than your shoulders can carry, seek professionals. For mental, legal, or financial battles, guidance is strength, not weakness.